Howdy, howdy. Good to see you guys. Made her back for another week. Uh, Hog Wild, do I need to come back in? Maybe. Looks like you're in here already. We go back to start here and we'll say hi to everybody. Let's see here, RT Scott. Good to see you. Hopes I'm feeling better. Yeah, I am. My heartbeat seems to be under control, but of course now it's got to be something. My blood pressure's running amok. They took me off my blood pressure medication for the surgery and said if it starts coming back up, start taking your meds again. And I did last week, but it hasn't really brought it back down. It's not dangerously high, but it's a good bit higher than it should be. And since I'm on blood thinners, you know, blood pressure half again what it should be in a blood thinner, it makes you a bit nervous about a hemorrhagic stroke, which I'd rather not have at this point. Hog Wild's here. Cynthia, good to see you. And I can always tell when my blood pressure is getting higher than it should be because I get an ache, a real sore muscle in the back of my neck. Just drives me nuts. And it's when my blood pressure is getting high. For some reason, it irritates that muscle. It wants to just hurt like hell. Let's see here. Hog Wild cast iron. He's got a Griswold Santa. Those are cool. A lot of fakes. You got to take a good look at them if you're going to pay a full price. Waffle iron, old Sportsman fish fryer, and some skillets in the oven. Should have her done by now. Jim F, Billy Lee, evening. Persimmon trees say you're having to dig out this year. Well, we got no persimmons around here. Persimmons and pawpaws were a bit too far north for those. Here in Mudbrook, don't get hickory trees either. About the southern quarter of the state, shagbark hickory will grow, but you get any farther north than that, they just don't. And it's not a huge difference in the climate. I mean, it's just a few days, on average, a few more days below freezing is all it really takes. Dan's here. Hey, Dan. Raymond. Raymond's frying some fresh dolphin, not the porpoise, mahi. Dolphins are so damn smart. How did they keep getting caught in the tuna nets anyway? I can see the first couple of times it'd take you by surprise, but after a dozen or so of your friends get caught in these nets, they got good hearing. You would think, that sounds like a boat dragging a net. I think I'll go over there. Would cross a dolphin's mind at some point. William Hurt, good to see you. Dan, I'm almost caught back up. Your Puritan has a picture of a farm on it. Yeah, we're going to take a look at Puritans. Somebody asked last week what the difference between the favorite made Puritans and the Griswold made ones. And I kind of explained it, but it's a lot easier just to drag them out and show you. And I got one other really cool thing, pretty cheap last week. I think it's pretty neat. Just finished Peach Upside Down at a field company. Oh yeah, Peach Upside Down sounds real good. Been a long time since I had peach. I've made a couple of pineapple within the last year or so, but haven't done a peach in ages. To William Hurt, Flash, good to see you. Jerry Henning, rather. Chris Salverson. Nice new blue shirt. Yeah, that's a shiny blue shirt. Doesn't fit quite right. Could be a little bigger, but that's what they had. I think I'm just about caught up. Hello, Dan, Robin. Good to see you. Val's Black Cats. Let's see. They trick the young ones by swimming through a hole in the net and takes out the competition. That could be weeding out the dumb ones. Seems like I got a little more pep in my step. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good generally, but like I say, it's got to be something. You know, once I got my heart rhythm settled down, the blood pressure's coming up, which isn't, like I said, it isn't out of control or anything terribly dangerous, but definitely something we got to get a grip on. But I'm seeing my doctor tomorrow anyway, so we should be able to get a handle on things pretty quick. He looked like he got smaller. Maybe. About the same size I've always been. For giggles, you want an Afghan pressure cooker? Can't wait to try it. I've seen those. I mean, it looks like it might be an adventure running one of them. Let's see here. Frank Manolo, good. Marulo, good to see you. I'm feeling fairly good. Dropping weight. Yeah, I'm down a bit from where I was, but not a huge amount. Let's see. Nice to see our familiar Mud. And speaking of familiars, where is she? She's sitting right there. Minnie is camping out. Anyway, about like I said, we're gonna show you the difference between the favorite made and the Griswold made Puritans, because both companies made Puritans. Puritan was a brand that was sold by Sears, and it was a fairly complete line. There were skillets, Dutch ovens, waffle irons, some gem pans. There's quite a bit of Puritan marked stuff out there. So, like I said, it's a pretty complete sort of brand. But there's one version of the skillets that was made by Favorite, and one that was made by Griswold, and they're pretty easy to spot. Here's your basic smiley logo number 9 Favorite. You can see the handle there. And Favorite has kind of a distinctive heat ring. They have an outside heat ring, but it's kind of rounded over. Let's see if I can get to where you can. Yeah, you can see it's kind of rounded over a bit on the edge. And the Favorite made Puritans are the same way. They got an outside heat ring, kind of rounded over. They got the same handle. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it on here. Maybe I can hit the light just right. And not quite. Favorite on their Smile logo ones anyway, the logo and the lettering they put on a separate plate that was inset in the pattern. Can't really see it on that one, but a lot of times on Smiley logo favorites, you'll see an outline around the logo, and that's where they set that plate in, because the lettering on the logo tended to wear out faster than the rest of the pattern. It was simpler just to pop the plate in and out with the lettering on it than it was to cut new letters in a pattern. Let me back up here. What size? That is a number 9 Smiley Favorite, and both of the Puritans I have are number 8s. And you see it's got its 8 there. It's an 8A, and they look pretty much identical to your basic smiley logo favorite. Pretty easy to spot. Now, set them down. Let me back up here. Moving up to an easy boy. Yeah, I had to get a recliner because I got to sleep sitting up just a little bit. I can't quite sleep. I can't quite sleep laying flat on my back, so I got to sleep in the recliner yet. And the pillows in bed just don't quite work enough. On the Griswold Puritan number 7 in Niagara Falls, a bit back. Yeah, I'm not sure which is more common, or really which one came first. I kind of think the favorite are a bit older. The favorite came first, and then Griswold, once favorite started running into trouble and getting sold out. How do I get all the bestest? Just pure luck, Cynthia. Just put a small cobalt blue favorite Peakwood Dutch oven in the booth today. First one you see. That sounds cool. Favorites made came with the favorite style lid, and same with the Griswold Puritan. Okay, yeah, and I haven't seen a Griswold Puritan with a lid, but I have seen the favorites, and yeah, it's pretty obviously a favorite type of lid. Gray Litton baking up some Boston beans and ham hocks in the Erie Dutch oven. And get caught back up here. Remember when I started toasting everyone? I should start doing that again because brandy is supposed to be good for your heart. I'll get myself a thing of brandy. All right, now a Griswold made Puritan. Still says Puritan on it, but the 8 is down at the bottom. Well, the 8 was down at the bottom on the other one, but it's got a 4-digit part catalog number after it. And you see it's got an inset heat ring, and the handle is really different. There's nothing else that I've seen Griswold that has a handle quite like that. A little bit weird, but it looks a lot like both a Victor, and I don't really think it's a Victor though, although the handle is a bit more similar. I think what they used for the most part was Iron Mountain patterns. They look a little bit more like it. They could have used Victors, but by then a lot of the Victors are kind of running out because most of their Victor patterns were recycled stuff from other things. But anyway, the Griswold Puritans look a lot like both the Iron Mountain and the Victor. They look a little more like the Victor, but the number 8 Victors are a goodish bit smaller than the Iron Mountains, and they're also a goodish bit smaller than the Puritans. You see the Puritan and the Iron Mountain fit each other a lot better than the Victor. But the Victor, you see there's definitely some shrinkage going on. So that's the difference between a Griswold made. Get down there. A little heavy. That's the difference between a Griswold made Puritan and a favorite. Caught back up here. I think them and Merritt were the same mold. Could be. They used, the Victors and they changed them up a bit, but they used a lot of the same. They used and reused a lot of the same patterns for different brands. Need to get a number 9 Lodge lid for a fryer. I don't think I have any number 9 Lodge lids floating around here. Get a thrift store glass lid. Let's see. If it fits, use it. Somebody must be asking about lids. You like the handles Merritt like that? Yeah, I forgot about Merritt. I'd have to see to make sure. But yeah, they're definitely a lot different than anything marked Griswold, Victor, or Erie. Let's see here. Only lids you've seen around the Dutch ovens. You like the handles. Merritt like, yeah, like I said, but that is pretty different. It's a funky handle on that. Thrift store glass lids. Yeah, you can definitely find a lot of lids that fit good at thrift stores, glass ones for next to nothing. And yeah, with cast iron lids, I mean, if it fits, even if it doesn't fit perfect, as long as it fits close enough, it's close enough. Chris Almerson, Pat Z is here. Good to see you. Buy lids regardless of what they go to. Yeah, so do I. I mean, if you come across lids on their own, cast iron lids especially, it's usually a good idea to pick them up. I mean, I picked up a Dutch oven that was, I mean, just about rotted away. I mean, it's so deeply pitted. I don't know what you'd really do with it, but it had a lid, and the lid cleaned up real good. It was only $10, so I got a good lid out of it, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the bottom of that Dutch oven, but looks like somebody used it for a fire pot and left it sit out in the rain, and it pretty much ate it up good. Yeah, it's kind of tough to leave a cast iron lid behind because it might fit something. If you don't have something that it fits right now, you might eventually end up trading something for it. And some lids on their own are rare and expensive. Like most of your skillet lids with the ears on them in any size other than 8 or 9 are pretty scarce. Like a number 5, number 6 skillet lid, like a Griswold that's marked, Griswold skillet cover. Those will go for quite a bit of money. I mean, I've seen them sell anywhere from 200 to 350, depending on what size they are. So if you can find lids other than 8s and 9s, definitely grab them if they're a decent price. Anyway, I'm going to show you this other thing that I found. I found a tea kettle. It's a little bit different. I paid $24 for it. It's a cast iron kettle but it has a brass handle and a brass lid. Now, at first I thought, maybe somebody had repaired it and put a brass handle on a broken lid, but looking at it, I'm pretty positive that's the original handle for this teapot. And I love that patina on the brass. So it's going to be a little tricky to clean it up. Probably just take a little bit of steel wool to the cast iron where it's spotted like that, and just wash the brass good. I don't want to go shining that off of there. So, like I said, a little careful steel wool on some of the rusty bits of the cast iron. Then give her a couple of coats of oil and warm it up on the stove. And it looks like the brass lid. I mean, it looks correct to the pot. It fits perfectly. See, there's a few little spots on there and some little rough pits. Inside needs a little cleaning up, but it fits just perfectly tight on there. So I'm pretty sure that brass is original to it. And look at the bottom. That's a number 3 6-pint Cannon and Deerfields. Now, I hadn't heard of Cannon and Deerfields before. I'll do a little research and see if I can look them up. But that kind of looks like when you see the Marietta, Pennsylvania skillets, there's some different names and initials, whether it's all one company or not. Kind of think it's from that area, at least, that time period, and that area. That's a really cool thing. I only paid $24 for it, so I think it was money well spent. Because I never seen one that was deliberately had a brass handle. I mean, I've seen a couple where people have obviously replaced a handle with brass, but yeah, it's the first one I've seen that looks like it was made that way. Your wife would love that one. Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to shine the brass up much because I like that patina. It'll need a good washing, but that's about it for the brass. Probably clean the inside of that off, get some of the nastier, more corroded looking stuff off the inside, but the outside's good. Clawing at my chair cat. You're given a generic cast iron skillet. The inside is rough. What can I do to make it smooth? Anything? You can smooth them up. Usually you don't really have to. I mean, some really cheap, really bad cast iron can be real hard to get seasoned and get it so it doesn't stick. But for the most part, the texture isn't really that important once you get it seasoned good. Even if it's rough, stuff won't stick. But if you absolutely have to, the best way to do it is to take a palm sander, a random orbital palm sander with some 50 grit sandpaper and just go over it enough to smooth it up a little bit. You don't need to make it mirror finish. I've seen a lot of people do that, and it really makes it difficult to get things to season if you got it too smooth. Just a real coarse 50 grit sandpaper on a round, palm sander will knock off enough of the high spots. It'll smooth it up a bit for you. Generally I don't recommend, sanding things down. I have done it once in a while. I have done it once in a while where I've had some kind of medium sized pitting or some real fine pitting that I just needed to break the edges off of. But you can, like I said, if you want to, you can go ahead and smooth it up. But generally, all you got to do is just use it. Use it like it is. Made in Staffordshire, the kettle made in Staffordshire, England, 1800s. Uh, Looks like an English gate marked hanging skillet you have. Well, okay, it could be English, which is why I've never seen one with the brass. Take that off of there. Yeah, Cannon Deerfields does sound kind of English. Yeah, I kind of thought it might have been, from the Marietta, Pennsylvania area, but yeah, it could definitely be English. I'll have to look into it a bit more. I haven't had a lot of time to research it, but it could definitely be English. And no matter where it's from, it's definitely a cool little kettle. One on eBay for 95. The company is definitely English. You yourself debunked a lie today. Got the nicest Taiwan chef skillet. Cleaned it before the rest. Thing's not only beautiful but awesome. Not heavy, the right size. Yeah, I have. I've always advocated for a lot of the made in Korea, made in Taiwan cast iron. You can get it dirt cheap, and a lot of it, it's not perfect on the outside, but the inside's usually nice and smooth. At least machined off, reasonably flat, and it works great. I mean, it's usually pretty light, and like I said, it's dirt cheap. Nobody's interested in buying it for any sort of collector's value, but they cook just as nice as any other cast iron you're going to find. Yeah, 6 pints is even more than the 5 pint for 95. Well, that's even better. Like I said, I paid $24 for it, so I'm already way ahead on the deal. The Taiwan skillets you used are excellent. Yeah, like I said, I mean it's easy to get snobbish with cast iron when you got cool things like fully marked Victors floating around, hanging on your walls. But honestly, a lot of the Taiwan and Korea made cast iron is really good. China is hit and miss. Some is okay. A lot of it's mediocre at best, and there's some that's just terrible. But don't automatically write it off just because it's Asian if you're looking for something to use. Your Puritan has 8D on the bottom. Yeah, I'm sure that was a pattern letter, so you keep track of individual patterns. You do want one with the tank emblem. Those are cool. I got one. It's a made in Taiwan skillet. It's got a little kind of a cartoon tank emblem on the back. And I got one that's got a cow. It's got a little kind of cartoon cow face on the back. I gotta get that one cleaned up yet. But I thought that was pretty cool too. I wish I could cough normal, but my chest still isn't healed up enough that I can just cough or a sudden sneeze. I mean, you get to live in dread of a sudden sneeze because you got to try and grab yourself fast and you know it's going to hurt like hell. You and the China one just don't get along. Like I said, a lot of the Chinese stuff is mediocre. There is some good Chinese stuff. There's a lot of bad Chinese stuff. You got to look it over pretty closely if it's Chinese. Like I said, the majority of the Taiwan and Korea stuff though is really good. I mean, surprisingly good. Hug that skillet if I cough. Yeah, that just drove me nuts the first few days after surgery because they give you the pillow. Grab onto the pillow and hold on tight if you got a cough. Well, okay, great. But you got IVs running into each arm. You got 3 or 4 tubes running into each IV. And it never fails. There's at least 2 or 3 of the damn things that are too short, so you go to wrap your arm around you, and you can only get to about here because the goddamn hoses are tangled up. But fortunately, I'm done with that. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm doing good. I had open heart surgery about a month ago, so getting over that. Had to have a valve replaced and an aortic aneurysm repaired. Turns out, if I'd had bypasses done, you heal up a lot faster from the bypasses than you do from a valve and aneurysm repair. But I ain't too overly worried about it. It'll heal up as it heals up. Right now, it's mostly just a matter of waiting for my breastbone to heal up because you still feel it kind of move past itself if you reach just right, which isn't comfortable. It ain't really painful, but you feel it pop and thunk. And yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah, don't get stormed on there, Cynthia. Yeah, serious stuff. Yeah, it needed to be done. Micromotion is really bad for bone healing. Yeah, and you can't immobilize it. You know, it's not like putting your arm in a cast. And you know, it is what it is. They put staples and wire in there to hold everything together, but it takes a long time for them to heal up. And a few people it never does heal up right. I hope, heal up, but yeah, you gotta be careful and deal with it for a while. Debbie's here. You've had a bad aortic valve, but you're scared to get it fixed. If it's just the valve, probably about 90% of the time, they can just go in through your femoral artery and do it with a catheter. They roll up the valve, thread it in there, stitch it in place, cut the old one out, and you're done in about 4 or 5 hours. And it's not that big of a deal. You know, they don't have to, just for a valve, they don't have to, usually, they don't have to split you open. But since I had a fairly severe aortic aneurysm as well, they had to open me up so they could fix that. How long until they clear me for work? Probably the end of October. I'm going to get started with some rehab next week. I don't really need rehab in the sense of cardiac rehab where I really need to rebuild, you know, strengthen my heart. My heart was fine. There weren't any blockages, and it's generally healthy. I mean, it could be in better shape, but you know, the heart muscle itself was healthy. It was the valve and the aorta that were bad. But I want to see if there's something we can do to strengthen my arms and stabilize my chest a bit more, get that all squared away because that's going to be the main thing. Yeah, I just don't overdo it. I've been careful not to lift too much or anything like that. But it's weird, you know, if you bend over and reach for something, even if it's, you know, something like that, you can feel your chest, feel the bones move. Yeah, good luck in the airport. slam you to the floor when you set off the detectors. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a bit of a problem. What's the mileage warranty? Too bad you can't find any iron to pump. I might be able to find some iron. And for the valve, I opted for a tissue valve. There's two kinds. There's a tissue valve made out of pig tissue, and then there's a mechanical one. The tissue valves last about 15 years, and they got to be replaced. But again, you can do that with a catheter. The mechanical valves last forever, but with the mechanical valve, you got to be on blood thinners the rest of your life, and I didn't want to do that. When my chest heals, get a zipper tattoo. Might do that. Yeah, we got pretty much everybody here, Jimmy. And yeah, I'm doing better. Got one more. Once I get my blood pressure under control, things will be a lot better. I just had a brand new knee replacement. I've been lucky as hell with my joints. I mean, especially considering, yeah, I mean, I'm a big, heavy guy. Worked for years as a laborer, climbing on shit over rough, soft ground. And most of the guys I work with by the time they're 50 either need or have a knee replacement. But so far, my knees have been just fine. He calls his chest scar his night crawler. Yeah, mine's just doing all right. Thing is, they don't. You can just see a little bit there. They put stitches in the muscle underneath, dissolving stitches, but the skin, they glue it together. They don't actually stitch the skin, and that shit takes forever to get rid of. You got little flakes coming off for weeks. Having issues with your right knee, you might need one. Yeah, like I say, I mean, I'm honestly surprised that I haven't destroyed my knees yet. If I'm off too long and don't get enough exercise, they'll want to hyperextend just a tiny bit, just enough to tweak them a little and make them hurt for a while. But other than that, yeah, that's why crazy glue was invented. Yeah, they invented super glue for field dressing. You know, soldier gets ripped open by shrapnel, you can slap some glue on and stick them together so his insides don't end up on the outside. I had a triple bypass in 2012. Cardio helps a lot with the wind and strength coming back. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I say, right now, I'm walking about a mile and a half a day with no real problems. So, like I say, the actual heart and heart muscle wasn't much of a problem. In fact, while you're in the hospital, after a few days, they want to get you out of bed at least 5 times a day. Take a little stroll around the ward, and when the nurses would change, most of them would ask, "Oh, how many bypasses did you have?" None. They'd look at me like I was nuts because apparently pretty much everybody in there was there for bypasses. And even if they had to have a valve or something like that, they usually had to do a bypass or two while they were in there. You've been getting knee shots, eventually get a replacement. Just started the same shots in the thumbs. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Just had a stitch come out of your shoulder scar. Had that surgery 2 years ago. The wife had some shoulder surgery, and they had to. It was like the second or third surgery she'd had on her shoulder, and they had to split the clavicle and do some stuff with that, and then they wrapped it up with a plastic strip, and that was supposed to stay in forever, and it lasted about 3 months, and then her body pushed that goddamn plastic strip out of her shoulder. And your sister had knee surgery, had lots of trouble with it. What I always love is to see x-rays from orthopedic surgery where they replace joints or put screws and plates and things in. They look like a junior high wood shop project. You got a nail hammered through and bent over, and it makes sense to do it that way. You hammer the nail through, then you clinch it over. But yeah, it looks just like some junior high wood shop project gone terribly terribly wrong. Had the knee shots for 12 years, finally had the surgery. Yeah, have a cast iron tumor in your brain, need removed. Big strong magnet. If they ever do an MRI on you, that'll come right out. Might take things that you need out with it, but it'll come right out the top of your head. Anyone want to see what the inside of your stomach looks like? Could show you mine on the Facebook page. Yeah, if you got to share, you got to share. I have seen the inside of some stomachs, but it's all well and good till they cut your leg off in two spots. I think I missed something here from Debbie. Oh, I found a big Lodge fryer with a lid for $20. Haven't taken a picture yet. Yeah, the big fryers for $20 is a hell of a deal. I just picked up a bunt pan a while ago. It says Coussants and made in France. Yeah, Coussants is a known French name. Not sure how long they've been around. Yeah, Le Creuset, I think, bought them out. They've been around. I know they made some stuff in the 60s and 70s. Before that, I couldn't really tell you. But yeah, they're French. French cast iron, uh, usually enameled, and not quite as expensive as the Le Creuset, but it's pretty nice stuff generally. Went into surgery and they had power tools on the trays. Yeah, they call orthopedics Black and Decker surgery because of all the power tools. Anyway, I was hoping I would get to work on the clock this week, but it's been like getting nibbled to death by ducks. As soon as you get ready to start doing one thing, you got to run off and do two others. It's just been a pain trying to get anything done. I mean, you can see the same mess is even worse than it was last week. But hopefully, I can get things settled down enough to get something done inside here while I got time without straining myself too badly. I've been collecting cast iron for 30 years and never seen a cast iron fluted cake pan here in Nebraska. You don't see a whole lot of them. they're out there. And there's different brands. I mean, Wagner made some, Lodge made some. Don't know if there's any Griswold. There might be, but I couldn't say one way or the other. And there's some quite a bit older ones, going way back into the early 1900s. And most all go for pretty good money when you come across one. So, I mean, if you find one for $75 or less, you're doing damn good. It's true, as Doc said, he's removing two of the screws in your back and hoped he had the right bit. Yeah, I suppose every, being medical devices, every damn one of them has to have their own top secret, super duper proprietary bit that only fits their brand of screws. So if you got something from 15 years ago, it's probably been discontinued for 10. Good luck trying to find the right the right screw bit for it. Is anyone checking on me? No, I am entirely on my own because I'm just that goddamn tough. There are Griswolds and some other brands made by Griswold. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I said, I haven't. I don't remember coming across them. I know Wagner made some. I've seen Wagner's, and can't think of it. But yeah, there are brand name ones. If your doctor has power tools, better not be from Harbor Freight. Still got the screws in your back. Don't want to do no more cutting or holes in me. Yeah, I mean I've had enough cutting done on me for a while. Vice grips and duct tape. Yeah, like I said, I mean it is some pretty brutal stuff working on bones. He had the bits. Oh, that's good. I'm sure they could have taken the Dremel tool and a cut off wheel and ground some slots in the end and used just a regular screwdriver to get them out. But it's a lot easier if you got the right bit for the damn thing. Wish you had that oxygen tank when you were going up the mountains. Yeah, I used that for a couple of days. That's been floating around here for a long time. I know what you mean. You can live with them staying. You don't like being cut on. I mean, apart from having my wisdom teeth dug out, this is the first major surgery I've ever had. So might as well just start at the top and work my way down. Fuzzy talked too much trash. Got locked in chaos, a special dungeon. Where's Fuzz? I haven't seen him. Or was he here? But there's no reason why Fuzzy can't be here. I think he was here earlier, wasn't he? I'm not terribly tightly focused. I'm glad I'm getting better. Yeah, so am I. YouTube jail. Yeah, you gotta be careful. You never know when they'll round you up and throw your ass in YouTube jail. Locked up fuzz. But anyway, hopefully next week we'll be able to get back to working on the clock again and working on putting it together. Get the rest of the bushings in there, get it played around with. But yeah, like I said, this week, just one thing after another, constantly nitpicking at me and interrupting everything that was going on. But hopefully, we'll get things settled down. He's watching, but he can't comment because he's in YouTube jail. Well, you get that now and then. Probably for spouting some politics. Yeah, politics is getting worse and worse. You're right, everybody else is wrong. Your side is saints, the other side is trying to destroy the country because they're evil, demonic bastards. Yeah. The surest way to get the other side to do something is, tell them the other side doesn't want them to. Doesn't matter which side, works every damn time. But fortunately, they managed to make it so that it's damn near impossible to really care about politics. No matter how stupid and destructive it gets, yeah, I'm just content to sit back and watch it all circle the drain. I got enough firewood and cast iron to last me for a good long while. But then again, that does kind of make me sound a little cynical. Right wing, left wing, part of the same damn bird. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Any goodies on Goodwill? Yeah, a few here and there that I've seen. I haven't looked yet today. Is the cat earning her keep by chopping firewood? Not yet. I gotta get some help lined up so I can get my wood put up for the winter, because it's going to be a little tough to do it by myself right now, which is what I normally do. But anyhow, I've been at this for 53 minutes now. Got 56 people watching. It's good to see you all. I appreciate you showing up. Hopefully, your shows will get a little better and better as I get better and better. Like I said, I hope we get to work on the clock this week. But if we don't, we'll figure something out to do. I'm going to wrap her up here. And I will see y'all. Hit your nose. I'll see you guys all next week. Billy Lee got a nice number 9 slant logo. Those are always nice to have. Continue healing. Take care. I certainly will. And I'll see you guys all next week, and we'll come up with something to talk about then. And hopefully we'll get a little farther on down the road. All right. I'll see you guys.